Turn the volume off on that. We're not going to need that. And let's head back to my dashboard. Alrighty guys, so I have been working on this now for, a couple months, I think, at the very least. And I wanted to give you guys a chance to see basically a finished product, I think. Now, of course, there's a few minor things that now that it's together and I've had a chance to work with it, that I think need to change. But yeah, we'll cross that road here in a little bit. So I will likely make this for sale. Not this particular version, but a slightly modified and tweaked one. There'll be less material to print, and hopefully I can change a few things for the better. Because of the way that it prints right now and the way that it functions, it's not exactly ideal, and I'll explain why here in a second. But I am going to go over what we've got here and give you guys a live demonstration so you can actually see it happen. Hopefully the same return happens that I got just about 20 minutes ago before I set this up for a live stream. So here is what we have. Now I have it in a box, a plastic tub here, because as much as I've sealed the inside of this thing with XTC 3D and made it watertight, somewhere there is a leak, and it's getting in between in the infill and ends up inside of the spare compartment and the battery compartment. Especially the battery compartment, that's no good. Now, there's so little tolerance, I could probably seal that from the inside with XTC 3D. So as you can tell, there's water in there where there shouldn't be. So until I get that sealed up, I don't want to put the battery pack in. But this is a completely working pocket sluice. I believe this channel is about 2.5 inches wide. It's not much. It'll give you a comparison to the size of my finger. It isn't a whole lot. So what I found previously is, you may have to hold it up like this. This is the gold that I've done panning by hand. It's an okay amount. No real big pieces. The very first one that I got within, I believe, 5 or 6 tablespoonfuls was, let me get him to show up here, this guy. Biggest one so far, and he was right at the bottom. I mean, I have a feeling others passed through, but he was sitting right there. Right on the edge. Just about to go over the lip. So it did catch it, although I have a feeling that there's some more that, probably because of the water flow, made it past, so I need to change my design. I also have a sawtooth design, I just haven't printed it off yet. But I wanted to see if this one would actually work first, since I already had it made. I've got another watcher now, that's cool. If you want to pop in on chat, that'd be awesome. But we are going to have a look at this. Now, I've already got some unsorted through, or unsifted, whatever you want to call it, pay dirt here. I got this off of eBay, and this gold that I have actually came out of this dirt. Now, this is only about 1/3 of the total amount that I got. So we are feeding this by hand with a spoon right here. And we simply take some out of the bag, and we feed it right up here into this top slot up here, and it runs down and sifts off, and then the excess gets caught in here, which I then dump into here, and I'm going to hand pan that to see how efficient this is. If I get absolutely nothing out of that, that means this is catching 100%, which I highly doubt is the case, but we're going to find out. Oh, I got another watcher. Cool. So let me really quickly go over a couple of the problems that I have with this particular version. Even though it's currently working, there's some issues, I think. So first, I'm going to take this water block off. And we're going to remove the tray so that I can show you. It's hard to do with one hand. Just kind of empty that in there. Okay. So you can tell on the bottom that we have some leftover dirt and whatnot down here. I was hoping it would all get caught in this, but apparently with surface tension it's coming up over this lip and ending up back up here anyway. Now it does appear that this filter material, which is a Scotch-Brite pad, was working as intended. It's cloudy, which isn't really any problem, but I haven't seen any solid material. This is just kind of like sediment or silt, I guess, super fine, settling on top. But the water that's coming back out of the pumps and through this clear hose is still clear, which means that this filter is doing its job. I do have a second if I absolutely need it, but the fact that there's so much left over here is a problem. I need to solve that. We'll get to that. The other thing was my print ended up, probably a fault of my own, sticking to the bed too much. And yeah, it stuck to the bed so much that I couldn't get it off, and it tore the bottom 3 layers right off the print. And obviously you can tell there's water inside the infill because of that, but that's another story. But for the effectiveness, it works. I just needed something that was the right size. So I started off with, as you might have remembered, I have 3 different layers here. We have 30 degree, 20 degree, and 10 degree. I've tried the top 2, and there's too much water flow. It's throwing everything right off the end, and nothing is having a chance to create an eddy current or something and get caught underneath these riffles. So the only place it's been effective currently is at the 10 degree mark, which is all the way down here. Oh, come on. Thank you. Now I had to go with a much more flexible hose. In fact, I had to order more offline because the hose I had just caused this water block to pop out. So being flexible, very good thing. I might even have to shorten them up a little bit. So yeah, this is supposed to be a replacement for a hand pan. We're not going to watch this. Since you're watching, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a live test of this and spoon feed in what we can. I have this set up so you guys get a bit of an up-close view. I just got to get it in my tripod here. Okay. So it's all battery powered, with 4 AA batteries, total of 6 volts, 1350 milliamp per battery, and we are going to turn this on. And there we go. Now that's powered on. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a spoonful of dirt. I'm going to have this dry so it comes off a little easier. I'll show you what I'm going to put into it. Okay, so this, and we're going to put that all the way up top, up here. So first I'm going to actually lift this up so you can see where I'm putting it. And this, just like that. Now you can, rather than just trying to do it little by little, you can actually dump it and it'll take care of the rest all by itself. I think it's probably going to work better to do it little by little, but we'll find out. So let's go ahead and send a few of these through. I'm trying to work around the camera here. I'm going to feed them a little bit slower, give them a chance to break up a little bit. Okay. Now, for those of you maybe are familiar, maybe not, gold typically, when separated like this, you will find it among black sand. Black sand is much heavier and, in some cases, magnetic. Now, I'm not worried about magnetic at this point. I'm worried about the black sand sticking behind. So as you can tell, let me get something a little better to point with here. Right down here in this very bottom, you'll see how it's black compared to what's up here. So you see a little bit of blonde here, assuming this is going. Let me turn the water off. You might see it better. Okay. So we have a little bit of blonde up here, and you'll notice there's some black here, just after the riffle, and black down here. I don't have a whole lot of black up top. It mostly ends up at the bottom after it's been agitated and separated by the water flow, which is correct. So what I don't want to happen is I don't want there to be enough material underneath this riffle that the water then suddenly goes over and doesn't have a chance to create a current. So when these tracks are full, it's time to empty out this tray. And this tray is meant to come out so that we can easily, shake it around in a bucket of water or something, or clean it out and then drop it right back in and keep right on going. Now you will notice that I have more on this side than I do over here, and that's just because this isn't sitting level right now, so the water is tending to come more to the side. Ideally, it should be sitting level so that you get the most out of your space. But let me go ahead real quick and take this out. I'm going to empty it into a container that I have sitting over here, and then we will continue and do some more. I see some chat. I will be over there in just a second. My laptop's about 8 feet away. I just can't see it from where I'm sitting. All right. So let that sit. So now we take what we've got here, and I'm going to dump this into a bin so that I can save it. It should be right here. I happen to be using the sink, so it's easier for me. If you're outdoors, you may want a larger bucket that this tray fits completely inside of, just to make clean out a little bit easier. All right. Now I did treat this riffle mat piece here that's in green with 3D Fuels PLA. I printed in PLA and I used XTC 3D to seal it up, which also means that finer gold doesn't get trapped inside the layer lines. So let me hook this back up. I'm going to go check chat real quick. Actually, let me check chat right now. I'm not a real watcher. I'm part of your imagination. Yes, I'm up to 4 watchers. That's pretty cool. I didn't think I'd get that many. Thank you very much, guys. This is going to be a much larger project. Hopefully this turns out to be pretty big, because I spent a lot of time on this. So let me show you here. This tray now has leftover material. That's what this was designed to catch, but obviously some's getting by, and like I said, I'll have to deal with that in a future revision somehow. But this, I'm going to empty out into a little bin I've got over here. And like I said, I'm going to hand pan the rest of this to make sure that I'm not missing any. Not that it's going to be worth a whole lot in this case, but I just want to make sure that if there's a chance to get it, I can. So obviously when you drop this back in, it floats. So what we need to do is we need to push it all the way down. Fill up with some water there. And now it sits. All right, let's hook this tray back up here. Let me put it on 10-degree mark, like that. Make sure my water module is in correctly. Now I'm going to raise this camera up a little bit from where it was so you guys can see the overall shot of what's going on here and not just up close. All right, so we're going to turn the power back on. We have water flow, and because of this, mind you, I am now going to take out the 20 and 30 degree angle pieces here, and even this top. So this whole printed piece here can shrink down, can shrink down quite a bit. That's much less material that it'll take to print, and there's a whole lot less reason to change it. And by eliminating that, you can actually lift this tray up rather than disconnecting the hoses to pull it out. Now I'm getting a little low on water because, like I said, this main box has a leak. Very small leak nonetheless, but still there. So we're going to, there we go, we're going to add some back in. And it looks like one of my pumps got clogged. It is the middle, which ends up being my rear pump back here. Something isn't right here. I'm losing water flow. So this is kind of like debugging on the fly. You guys ought to like that. Now it's so tight, I actually can't even get it out. Well, that's not... There we go. Okay, so it sounds like I might have finally got it. Now, two of them have come apart. This pump is no longer spinning. Well, it almost looks like this might be cut short. I need to figure out why my pumps suddenly quit. I think they might have died because they got stuff in them. Nope, that one's working. I see what's wrong here. I did get a very little piece of stuff stuck in that one, which means there's probably something stuck in this guy. And yes, he's very tiny. So let me unclog these real quick. Gotta love on-the-fly troubleshooting. And as you can tell, obviously I need to work on a little bit of fine-tuning this, but the concept works. So I see, which one? This one? This one right? He's really stuck in there, isn't he? Okay, so he should be up and running now. Yep, so he's working. Let me go ahead and put him back in. And this one. Should be working now. Cool. All right. Actually, I think those two are meant to swap places because of the length of their hoses. All right. Sorry about this, guys. All right, we should be up and running now. And there we are. We're good to go. Okay, sorry about that. So, we're gonna go ahead and dump in some more pay dirt here. Now, in case you're joining late and you don't want to go back in the stream, I got this off of a seller from eBay. This is supposed to be what they call legitimate pay dirt, which means it does contain some amount of gold. They say they added some. Who knows how true that is, but I do know there is gold in it. Obviously, I've found gold already. This was done by hand, and you may or may not see it in here, but there at the end, there's one piece. That's so far what I've got from this. So I'm not sure how efficient it is yet. All right, so let me go ahead and not put dirt in my Pepsi. Let's try this again. Let's feed it a little bit more. I'm not gonna just dump it in this time. I'm actually gonna put it in little by little. Give it a chance to break down. So you can see the much larger material passes right over. And the finer stuff takes its time. Now, because of how it's angled, I'm going to actually have to start putting it up here. Up here, so it covers all of the area. Okay. Let's keep going for a little bit here. Now I did specifically print this tray in green because a lot of the hand pans and other things are made out of green because it contrasts well with gold. I guess I could have made it... Oh! Okay, so I know this isn't 100% efficient. I just saw a piece of gold get caught in a current, and then as I was about to go reach for the battery pack, it popped right off the side. So I do know that it did work. I just didn't stop it in time, which is fine because I'm keeping all this dirt. And I can run it through again. Now you notice that the riffles are obviously becoming clogged here, which means stuff has the tendency to run off of it. So either I need more riffles. Oh. Stop. This is what I'm talking about. You guys got to see it live on the stream. And I even have 4 people watching. This is awesome. Okay, so right at the end, this guy. Let me see if I can change the camera angle on this any. Take it out. Move my tripod. All right, let's see if we can see that. You see that guy right there in the end? That is a very large piece of gold. Now, of course, I'm no expert. I don't know. They have classifications for these, and I'm not sure how they classify them. Some people can just tell you just by looking at it. I can't. But there's one right there. And like I said, it was about ready to go over the edge, and I wanted to catch it before it did. So this is obviously taking gold that it's making it all the way down to the end, and then it's getting ready to go off the edge. So I may need to do something extra here. But there's a piece right there. So let me put this back in the tripod real quick. I'm going to take that piece and add it to my vial that is specifically gold that was found with this sluice. Wow, that's a pretty big piece, man. There we go. All right. So, 2 pieces now, and so far these are the biggest pieces I've found. So yes, this setup does work. I'm going to continue this live stream. You don't have to keep watching if you don't want to. But if you're curious to see how much more I get, or you want to see this in action a little bit more, I'm going to continue feeding this. I'm not going to do the entire bag because I want to save some for the next revision that I make. But this is a pretty good start here, I think. So you get to see how I work with this, and obviously I need to get a little better at it. But so take that out. Yeah, I need to work on making this, no, don't fall in there, a little more efficient to work with. This guy. Okay. Like that. Like this guy. And sorry you can't see this. I'm just emptying this out into a piece of Tupperware here. Okay. Put it back in the tray, the right direction, of course. And we will put this back on 10. Set the water block back in it, like that. Sure that everything's down. And I will show you what I've got down here. What I've taken from that sluice tray is right here. You can see there's a lot of black sand in it. There is likely some finer gold that's in here that you couldn't readily see in this tray that's printed. But this will allow me something that I can hand pan. So I'm separating this from the larger pieces. And I'll go through all this another time. I'm not going to make you guys watch that here on the stream. So let's go ahead and let's fire this back up. We got to make sure all 3 of our pumps are working. And let's go ahead and feed it some more. I'm genuinely excited by this, guys. You know, honestly, I had my doubts. I didn't know if this was going to work or not. But it's definitely cool to see that it does. So I may even need to drop the 10-degree angle down a little bit to something like 6 or 7 degree maybe. Maybe even just a little bit less than this, because I still think it's a little fast, or I need to work with larger or either more or larger riffles. Now this is not the sawtooth version that I have made. I just haven't printed it yet. I'm waiting on that one. Okay, so our riffles are about full already. I'm trying to keep an eye on this. I can see the eddy currents have got a lot of black sand here. All right, I think we'll do one more for this. Oh, I think I saw one disappear. Hey, stop. Is that one? I do see some finer gold in here, but for this particular video, I'm not going to worry about that. I can always filter that out later. And I think one more, and then I'll have to empty this out again. Yeah, that's pretty full now. All right, so I'm taking a look at it real quick here. I see a couple finer pieces. I see one that is, let me get something to point with here. Let me move the camera out of the way, see if I can get this on video. Where'd it go? I just saw it a second ago. Hang on. Oh, well. I did see it. It was like right in the middle. Okay. Well, I no longer see it. Sorry. You wasn't even on camera for you guys there. That is not. All right, I'm not sure where it went now. Well, I saw one. It's extremely small, but like I said, not something that's really worth going over in this particular video. So let me empty the sluice tray one more time, and we'll feed it again. And this time I'll zoom out a little bit here so you guys can see what all it takes. Hey Rodrigo, what's up, my man? I'm seeing some familiar names on that chat list. That's cool. All right. So I do need to work on a better way to remove this, unfortunately, but whatever. All right. So now, as you can tell, when they get full like that, the water passes over and no longer creates a little undertow current there. So I'm going to take this over here. And clean him out. I'm sorry this part's not more exciting. I'll tell you right now that gold prospecting is not for the impatient at all. Not in the slightest. So if you are someone who is in any way impatient, this is not the hobby for you. I have a bit of an impatient tendency myself, but I do get excitement, obviously, when I see, you know, you've seen 2 pieces of gold already on this stream. To me, that's awesome. And that's to know that my design worked, even though I didn't think it would. Did I empty out this tray? I don't even remember. No, I did not. Okay. All right, it's good enough. I'll take this. I'll tell you, once you get a 3D printer, making your own stuff is cool. Like, I started with a cheap little design. It was more than a couple months ago. And I was just messing around. I'm like, yeah, this would be kind of cool. I have a tendency to float between hobbies. Now that I've made one, I want to make one better. I want to keep upping the ante. Now, I will say that this, when I get a tweaked model here, this won't be the exact final, but this lets me know what I need to improve on. I will be making these available for sale. Yes, I know I sell a lot of things. If you're interested in this, obviously from the stream you can tell it does work. It needs to be improved a little bit, but it does work. The money from these will go toward making new things. I really don't need any new equipment for the channel. I have the camera, I have the computer, I have everything I need. But it helps me offset the time that it takes to design and build this kind of thing. I've spent, 70 or 80 hours on this, maybe more, and that's not including printing time, where I could have been doing that at a job making money. So it does help to make it worth my time to do. If this is something you guys want, by all means, go ahead and let me know. You can let me know in private message here on YouTube. You can send something in chat, whatever you want to do. I would prefer private message just so we don't discuss private details and not everyone gets, your address or your phone number or something like that. As for chat, I've seen videos on YouTube of guys looking for gold in rivers. This is kind of the same method. Yes, this is pretty much exactly the same method, but on a super small scale. Gold Hog has something that's like this, but this would be like 1/20th scale. This you can fit in one hand. Their stuff you have to carry in two hands. It folds up. It's giant. Now you can shovel in dirt. That's not what this is meant for. I could design one that does, but with these size pumps, I'm restricted to this size because of water flow. So I'm not going to just yak your ear off. I know you're not going to be listening to me the entire time, so we're going to go ahead and run some more through it because I'm excited. Powering up. All three pumps are working. That's cool. I need a drink really quick. So yes, if you'd like to buy one, that would be fantastic. I'm just going to tell you guys up front, no lie, this is not going to be something that's like a little $50 thingy, okay? This takes at least 57 hours to print everything as you see it here. And that's assuming the prints all go right the first time. So you got filament cost, you got a lot of printing time, which means my printer's down and I can't make things for other customers. I actually have customers that come to me off of like my Craigslist ads and things that need little bits and pieces printed for various things. And if my printer is tied up doing this, I can't make money doing that. So I still have to charge something for my time. I'm going to stop it already because, see that? One in, and I found, I'm trying not to bump the camera on you guys. It's a little bit finer, but I think I want to take it out. It doesn't pop away from me here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. It's not huge, but it's still gold. And I happen to see that before I put in the next piece, because the next spoonful of dirt could have washed that away. Oh, we're up to 5 watchers. Not sure who joined in, but that's very cool. I think this is actually the most people I've had at one time watching my stream. So thank you very much, actually. I'm going to pull these up. Okay, so that actually increases water flow. So I do need to space them up a little bit. That's another keynote I need to make for myself here. Let me dry the spoon off here. I know, this is the most professional setup you've ever seen, right? All right, let's go ahead and feed in some more. You see a lot of larger chunks just rolling right off the end. So I originally thought that I would need to classify a lot of this, which means it's kind of like filtering out larger pieces and only allowing the smaller parts through. But you can see that. See, a big chunk just rolls right on by. And they're also lighter than gold, which means they don't get trapped in the currents. And the finer stuff ends up settling. You can see we got some black sand down here. So I think the need for a classifier is out, which means my original idea of having the lid be a classifier is null and void now. See all those large chunks just pass right on by? I think I need to make something a little bit stronger with that last piece, so heavier gold doesn't hit that at a strong current. I can hear one of the pumps, I think, getting clogged. Okay, let's keep going. Now, of course, my next test would be we have a creek nearby, and there's some of this type of sand, and this, I don't know if it's pay dirt necessarily, but it's like this, so I could either hand pan it or send it through here. What I think I'm going to do for an actual video is I'm going to take this out and test it in the creek. Actually give it a real life run through. I'm going to take this on vacation too, by the way. Next Thursday, when we head up to Michigan, I'm going to take this with me, and we're actually staying on a lake, so there's some beaches and some other things, and it'll give me a chance to see how this works with dirt out in the wild, not pay dirt as such, that you can buy that you pretty much know is going to have gold. But this is a good control so that we know what we're working with. All right, let me let's run a couple more through here. I think I'm about full down here in my catch tray. It's definitely working on the black sand. There's no question about that. Oh, I see one. Let me turn it off before it gets all the way to the end. Let me take this out. I'll show you again. Can you spot it? Right there. So already we have another piece. And while I have you guys this close, let me see if I can get a good camera angle here and show you what it looks like from top to bottom. So up at the top, I really am not seeing anything. There isn't a whole lot. The current's pretty quick, and it's kind of blowing over there, but as the black sand seems to settle out, you see we got a little bit lighter stuff up top here, and we have more black sand down here, especially down here at the bottom, all this black sand. What I'd like to do is be able to have enough riffles that at some point the black sand doesn't reach all the way down. That means I'm catching everything that's heavy and hopefully getting all the gold. So we have one more piece right there. Oh, I see another one already. If anyone else saw that. Right there. So there's one in that corner. See if I can bring them out. So there's one, and there's one. So we got two rather large pieces out of this run. So I'm going to keep the stream going. I'm going to go quickly pull these two out of here and put them in my little tube. And then I'm actually going to completely take all this out. I'm going to clean out all of the extra silt that made it past this catch bin and clean everything, clean the pumps, clean the filter, put it all back together, and then we will continue. So if you guys want to stick around for that, that'd be cool. I am going to continue to stream. Like I said, my girlfriend is currently in California seeing her daughter. So I have until Tuesday to kind of mess around, which is why I'm able to do this with her most excellent Tupperware here. Which I would be dead if she caught me doing this. So let me go ahead and pull out these two. That one might be a little more difficult. Okay. Okay, so I know that some of you were probably going to point out that a snuffer bottle is more commonly used to pick up the gold out of things like this. I understand that. I don't have one, and I think it's honestly just a little bit easier to use a pair of tweezers. I have some more chat. Let me see what this guy says. Christopher O'Connor, got to go to bed and do the school pickup from Australia. Oh, very nice. Been great to watch you and look forward to seeing progress. Thank you very much, Christopher. Thank you for watching. I will be doing some more streams. Not this, well, I might do one next week, but the following week I will be in Michigan with my girlfriend, and I will have this hopefully all tuned up and be able to show you more of what it looks like live. There's pretty good cell service up there. I am streaming off my cell phone. Yeah, hope to see you again. Thank you for watching. If you have any other questions or anything, you can always hit me up, write something in the description or in chat, write a comment, whatever. But yes, thank you for watching. I love that. Nice to see you guys. I will catch you later, hopefully. All right, so I'm going to disassemble all of my crap here, which is unfortunately a little more involved than I would like. So some of this might be off camera. I'm sorry about that. I don't want to bore you, but I don't have a lot of room to work with. Okay. I am so stoked this works. I cannot... Have I said I'm excited yet? It's like, I feel like I haven't said it enough. All right, so that's done. Rinse this guy out. He probably needs sealed up because there's water all up inside this thing. That's terrible. Whatever. All right. We have the catch tray here, which is honestly completely full. Bring this in here. So let me fill this with water here. Okay. clean and clear. We empty this into here. I know there's a lot of steps involved. I don't have, tons of 5-gallon buckets or anything to work with here. I want to see what I'm working on over here. Okay. And this. Okay. There's all of that. Let's put it over here. Fill this up because this is going to be used to refill the water in the main tub. So you can tell there's some optimization that needs to happen here. Okay, now for the slightly more intricate part here. All right, so I don't have, and here's another thing, is that I currently have to tuck this in. Okay, which sometimes these hoses pop out. They're just kind of pushed into the back here. I had to work on the sizing quite a bit, but they're literally just press in. That's all they are. So we leave that in there. Let's take this off for right now. He separates. Let's pull out the pumps. Pull out all the pump. Come on. All the way out. There we go. And so, as you can tell here, I'll mix up here. The pumps and everything are all together by themselves, so they can all come out. I'm going to rinse these off. Okay. Set that over there for a second. All right, so I'm going to take off the spare and battery lid pieces here. Let me bring you guys back in here. Let me raise up the camera. I'm doing all this articulation here. Sorry about that. I know this is probably going to look absolutely stupid on the stream, but I don't have professional camera equipment, all right? Okay. So now we need to obviously empty out whatever's in here. Now this filter actually looks like it did a pretty good job. So I'm going to try and drain this slowly, and we're going to see how much made it onto the other side. So I'm going to really quickly just filter out, rinse the filter here. Just like that. Good as new. And now for this guy. All right. See what we got. Let's make sure we're still on camera here. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to bring this in and tilt the camera down so you guys can see. You can see that I have a lot of material left over that managed to escape my debris catch box. So the catch box only does so much good. Obviously a lot got by it. And this is very, very fine. In fact, I even think I see a piece of gold right there. This fine stuff is probably where you're going to find some more gold. It's not going to be so much in this thicker, chunkier rock stuff here. As for this side, get rid of some of the water here so we can effectively see it. Only a little bit of silt got by. It's not too bad. So the filter obviously did a pretty good job, but I am going to have to optimize placement or something. I'm going to need a better filter type so this stuff doesn't get into the pumps, because you saw me, I had to clean out the pumps. I do want to save this stuff, however. And to do that, unfortunately, let's see. Well, first, I'll fill it up. Let's use this. Like I said, I don't want to waste anything. Let's do it this way. Okay. Whoops, got that all over the counter. Okay, so unfortunately that's one of the things that's probably going to have to happen unless I can come up with a better idea. But now we are completely clear, and you can probably see the brush strokes from where I put on the XTC 3D. It did a pretty good job, but like I said, there's still water seeping up into the spare compartment, and especially the battery. So I need to line the inside of the battery compartment so that the battery pack can actually sit in here without worry. Either that or drill a hole in the bottom, because I decided I didn't want to put one in. Stupid me. I may have to put one in, but we'll see. So now that we're clear, and like I said, for leaks, you can tell, yeah, that's all this stuff. So we're just gonna dump that out. I'll lay these back in here because I was using these to help keep it flat, like that. And now we're gonna start putting everything back in it. Oh, I've got 7 people watching. Check that out. Guys, we got 7 people watching the stream. I know, right? 7 people. Oh, geez. Yes, I have 884 subscribers and I have 7 people watching the stream. It's cool. I'm fine with that, actually. That's currently a record. 7 is now our record for the most number of people watching a stream. So, like I said, I've got not a whole lot. This is mostly fine now, but this is all of the pay dirt I have left. If I have to buy more pay dirt to use as a control, I think I'm fine with that. But I am really liking that this does work. So, like I said, if you guys want to buy one, that would be fantastic, but they will not be cheap. I haven't set an actual price, but unfortunately they're going to be somewhere around 180. Now, mind you, this isn't something that's designed to get you completely rich. This is just, think of this more of an educational scale thing at this point. I do have a much larger pump. You saw these small ones here. Let me show you. So these tiny little pumps are 120 liter per hour. I have a pump that's probably 8 times this size, and it puts out some serious water, which means I'm going to need a lot bigger contraption. But in order to do that, I need material, I need time, I need to be able to offset it. So if you guys would like to help out and buy one, that'd be fantastic. They will take, I'm going to tell you, probably 3 weeks to make. I make them to order, I just don't have these things laying around ready to be shipped out. So, give me just a second. I need to grab another drink, and I will be right back here on the stream. Just hang tight, guys. I'll be right back with you. Alright guys, I'm back. I'm down to 6, that's cool, whatever. Oh, down to 5. Oh gosh, no. Where is he? Sorry guys, I had to use the restroom and had to grab some more fuel here. It is just about 1 o'clock in the morning here. I'm a night owl, so this is kind of what I do. Let me go ahead and put this back together for you. I'll run another few through and we'll see what we get. All right. Whew, that's good. All right, so we're going to put the filter in. I'm going to press it down. I want to make sure as little gets through the bottom as possible. And this will give me a chance to show you what this is on this side. So, portable sluice box. Nicely over here. If it isn't for the angle of the light there, 30, 20, 10, and a very terrible top layer because the text is so small, created by Midnight Ninja. So, obviously this is going to undergo a complete redesign because the 30 degree and 20 degree angles are too steep. So I will eliminate those in the final. There's just absolutely no reason for that. Hey man, okay. You know what, while we're here, why don't you guys sound off, let me know where you're from, what country. I don't need to know specific, you know, like, don't say what city and state, you know what I mean? Just, are you Australia, are you Germany, Canada, whatever. I'm kind of curious what kind of demographic ends up watching these things. Not for any real reason, just kind of helps me figure out who's watching, you know what I mean? So, I'll show you this thing collapsed because I haven't done that yet. Actually would have gone that way. This goes that way. Okay, so this is everything packed up, obviously minus the two things and the pumps, which would have the water block and the hose all sitting in this area here. I got a chat, what does he say? Oh, very nice, from Mexico. Cool. Okay. So it does pack up. I may end up changing or eliminating this box. So I don't know what I'm going to do with him quite yet. So obviously to put them together is pretty easy. Just take this guy, drop him in there, take the box in, take this guy, we'll put him in second because I still need to put in the pumps. I forgot about the most obvious piece here, you know what I'm saying? Okay. I'll back this up a little bit here. So we're going to be on the 10 degree angle down here. Now we can take the pumps, and I'm obviously going to let my battery pack hang outside. So pumps, unfortunately, don't have any specific slot they go in because there's no like specific length of hose. That one's shorter, this one's longer. I'm going to put this guy, actually, put him in that one. I could probably put magic marker or something on the top of each of these pumps and say like slot 1, 2, and 3 just to make it easy for me. 1, 2, 3, we're all in. Let's take the tray, hook the tray up to the 10 degree, make sure we're sitting down properly, drop the block in, take pressure off the hose here like this, and there we are. Now we're going to fill it up, and so for that, what I was using is currently got some more dirt and sand in it, whatever here. So I'm going to kind of empty this out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this. This is why I love this sink. And we're going to go ahead and fill this up. All right. There we are. So we are above the edge of, we are above the pumps, kind of up to the top. We're completely clear now. Let's bring this back down to a, sorry, this is gonna look really bad for a minute. About down to here. Let's bring the battery pack. Let me wipe the counter off here. I'm spilling more water than I intended. It is all granite, so I guess we're all right. Alrighty. All right, and let's look down at this guy, like that. Now with completely clear water, as I feed this, you'll be able to see what it looks like and how fast it comes over here. Hopefully. Okay. So let's go ahead and power it on. Make sure all 3 pumps are working here, which means I should have 3 individual pieces of water flow, and I do. That sounds pretty good. We're nice and clear, have very little in the pump, so I think I got everything cleaned out. We should be good now. Let's grab a spoon, let's grab some dirt, and let's throw a little bit more into it. Oh, we got someone from the UK. Cool. Actually, I think, you know what, you're the first person, Mark. I want to say that's binary, and I'm too tired to convert that to decimal at the moment. But yes, I think you're the first person I know of that has either commented or anything on my stream or in the comments or anything from the UK. So good to see you. Thank you very much. Glad you're tuning in. And while I'm doing this, let me ask all of you guys, or 3 of you, I guess, including me, so 2 of you. What do you tune into this channel for the most, or did you just happen to find this video because of its title and you're not really here necessarily because of the channel? I'm just trying to figure out how you guys found me, or if you guys are subscribers. I'm not really sure. It doesn't tell me right off the bat. I already found a couple more pieces of gold here. Let me that guy off the edge there. They're rather fine, but I still want to pull them out. Sorry you guys can't see me do this. I think I need better frickin' tweezers. I think I got it off, okay. Now, this probably could find some other, I don't know, gems or whatever. I know there's some other types of things that can be filtered out in the same general fashion that gold can, because they're also heavy. But they're not something I can readily identify. I don't know that much. So, yes, it is possible to find more. Rodrigo, yes. Actually, now that you mention it, I think you are a subscriber. I think I do remember you mentioning that before. Very nice, thank you. I'm relaxing and amazed by the patience I have. Yes, believe it or not, I take immense amount of time to do things. And I will say that that is one reason why it takes me so long to get videos out, is because when I do something that's not live stream, I want to get it perfect. I do 30 and 40 and 50 takes of something that's only like a 20-second or a 15-second segment. And I'll record it over and over and over, unless I can't, because some things are a one-shot only. But I'll record it until I feel it's perfect, and even then, I'll get all the way down to the editing stage and go, I need to re-record that, and have to set it all back up. So I'm sure I'm definitely not efficient, but yes, this requires a lot of patience. And for things like this, as much as I like the instant gratification that I could have if I'd have just decided not to stream this, I could have gone into the garage, plugged it in, and just started feeding this thing for the next 6 hours. But I decided not to. I wanted to do this for you guys and give you guys a chance to see what I've been working on, because I know I've been teasing this a lot. And I am, I know this is going to sound a little bit different, but I'm trying to work on my vocal inflection. I'm trying not to be so monotone. That's one of my problems. Okay. Yes, so I'm going to try something. Since I know what's down here, what's down in these last little bottom pieces are not necessarily anything I want, I'm going to see if I can use a toothpick to push them out and kind of clean them out on the fly. You will notice, maybe not, this is starting to get a little cloudy. I am seeing a little bit of, excuse me, a little bit of stuff seeping through the bottom there. But for the most part, it's still clear. And the water coming through the tubes is clear. Water coming out here is clear. So for now, we're actually doing pretty good. Let me grab my toothpick here. All right, let's turn this back on, see if I can't empty out these channels on the fly. That would be very cool. Haha. Yes, I can. It's not glorious or anything, of course, but now mind you that by emptying this out, there's always the, oh, I see one. I'm gonna keep an eye on it while I turn this off. You're not gonna be able to see this, and I'm not actually gonna bother with it. It's too fine for me. Right here, you know what, I'm gonna set the toothpick down, pointing at it. I'm gonna see if I can get this on camera. There is a super fine piece of gold to let you know how well this works. If I'm not in my own light here. So I gotta get like the perfect angle on this. Okay. So right, see that little shiny spot like right at the end of the toothpick there? That is a super fine piece of gold. I guess you can kind of see it there. See if I can point to it now. Right there. Very, very fine. Not enough that I'm going to worry about it. I don't really care if it's that small. That's not gold. We have a lot of black sand down here. So yes, this does trap extremely fine gold, which means if you're going to clean it out, you want to have a way to hand pan it or do something else to recover that extremely fine gold. I'm not going to bother with it here. Obviously, the amount that I'm going to get out of this, even if I were to take it to a jeweler or something, is not going to net me probably more than 15 or 20 bucks. I mean, there's not a whole lot of value in the gold that I've found. In fact, I don't even know its purity yet. But at some point, I will end up getting a jeweler's scale so that I can figure that out. It'll be an interesting little thing to find out exactly how much I have. I do have a local jeweler here that would be willing to pay for it. And I know them, so they'll give me a decent price on it. Where's my Pepsi? I need a drink. I'm going to stop this for just a second. Oh, that's right, I can't post it. Oh, yes, I can. Hang on a second. Give me a second to post the link to this live stream on Facebook. Watch me. send that over. All right, cool. So we may or may not be getting some more viewers here in a minute. We will find out. Let me really quick. I'm gonna let this run and circulate, so you guys aren't just watching nothing. At least the sound of water should be calming, I guess. I'm gonna respond to a couple things on Facebook real quick. Yes, one person, Christopher O'Connor, suggested that I try adding in another scourer under the main section and testing out 5 and 15 degree. Now I'm running at 10 degree right now. I think a little less might be better, and I'm going to change the height, the total height here of the riffles in this to allow it to catch more. Because it's actually getting pretty good water flow over this. You just mentioned on the live feed about trying a different angle. If you considered a second level of matting, at the end of the first mat would drop into a second mat, which would then run the opposite direction. I'm not sure if Christopher O'Connor's watching. I guess he might be. Yes, I'm sorry. I just made the connection now. I'm so sorry about that. If you're still watching, Christopher, yes, I do have a design that, let me back this up and I will show you here. So my original design had the pumps coming out up here. So this water block was all the way at the top. It would run down to about halfway here, and then from there would run back and end at 0 down here. So the very bottom, like if this were the bottom of the two trays, this would have ended on this side. But yes, it would come down like this and then come back the other way. So it would run down 2 sets of mats. I did have that concept to start with. I may look into something like that, but I want to design this so that it packs up easily, it's easy to print, it takes as little material as possible, as few supports as possible, and in general is just easier to work and easier to make and work with. But yes, that actually is a very good idea. My battery's running low on the laptop. Give me just a second. Completely forgot. I've got my laptop set in performance mode, so it gets like absolute crap for battery life. We got an outlet sitting right here. Boom, got it in time. Okay. Rodrigo, where did you get that sand is full of gold? Sand near my city is white. Like I said, I bought this from an eBay seller. In fact, let me pull the bag. I think I got the bag here in the trash. Let me show you guys here. So this is what I bought. This is golden pater, authentic gold rich pater, blah, blah, blah. Guaranteed real native gold inside, which, yes, it is. I bought the 12-pound bundle, which gave me 2 5-pounds, and as a bonus, they gave me 2 extra. So obviously it doesn't say where it's from, but obviously I'm getting gold out of it, and I do know it's real. I've had a couple pieces tested at the jeweler, so I know it is actual gold, not pyrite or fool's gold. Let me go back to Facebook here real quick. I'm watching your live stream now. Before I have to do the school pickup, ideas flashing through my mind. Do you think the tray and pink stand would scale up. I'm wondering how they would work if scaled to a size that you could shovel small loads onto the top, on the top of when prospecting, have the lower end in a bucket or similar, then with the second bucket run water over the load at the top. Yes, that actually does make sense. And I don't know if you're still watching. I can't tell who's watching the stream live and who isn't, but that's actually a really good idea. But the biggest restriction I have, and the reason I had to make them this size, was because this is the width of my print bed. I can't actually print anything wider than this. I would make something that actually sets over top of a 5-gallon bucket, and you would fill the 5-gallon bucket with water, and it would use that as a recirculating water source, and then you simply feed off of that into the bucket, and when you're ready you can empty the bucket or change it out or whatever. Problem is, I can't print something wide enough that will actually clip over a bucket. I have an ANET E12, and it's a 300 by 300 print bed. A little bit less than that because of the edge, but I'm limited in size. So I was trying to work with something that's compact. But yes, technically you could scale this up. You may run into some other obviously fitment issues, because like if you scale this up, the pumps are no longer going to fit in the slots that they're designed in at this scale. But yes, you could scale this up and make it bigger. I will definitely consider that. If your sand is white, you're right. You've probably got pulverized coral, shells, any number of other things like that. But you're not likely to find much gold in it. At least not with what you've got. Like I said, I will be taking this live to a creek. We have a creek that's actually right over there. It's actually out that direction, about 90 feet or so. It's just kind of down at the end of the street and a couple feet past the edge, and there's a creek right there. I have been pulling stuff from there and hand panning it, but this is actually turning out to be a lot more effective, I think. So let's go ahead and run just a little bit more through this. Let me get a decent angle on this thing for once. Okay. So we'll power it on, bring it closer. All right. Where'd my spoon go? There it is. Let's see what we get. Now I'm going to try dumping this on thick all at once and see what happens. Now you can see that sifted through pretty well. I have a feeling that along with that, some might have gotten over the edge. So until I can change the amount of surface area that it goes over before it ends up back in the water, we're going to kind of go through this a little bit slower, I think. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Hello. Okay, that was, yeah. I just saw a big chunk and it flew right on past. It was so heavy. Okay, give me a minute. I'm not kidding. This is cool. I don't see it on the top, so I'm going to have to run what's in here back through this. Trying to work around the camera is not as easy as it sounds. Dump that out here. Let me get this with some water in it. Okay. Okay. That was a really big piece. Oh, man. Like, I saw it, it just zipped right on by. Holy crap. They had a name for it, I think, what they were saying on their eBay listing page. Like, if you get the Bonanza or something like that, I think, are kind of like jackpot large nuggets. Okay, so it is somewhere in here. And I can almost guarantee it didn't come off and bounce down into there, because it would have been so heavy it would have ended up in here. At least from what I understand of material weight, that's how it would have gone down. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to turn this on. I'm going to, since obviously I can always redo this, I'm going to empty out these little pieces so we have a lot to work with, and hopefully it gets caught. I'm excited to show you this piece. That thing was huge. I think that's what they call the Bonanza. I guess a toothbrush might actually be more effective. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see if I can catch this going down now. Man, that was a big piece. That just caught me off guard. I'd actually like to see if I can figure out a way to make this sort of like self-feeding. Put a piece up top that allows it to just kind of like do this. See how it just kind of comes off all on its own? Maybe self-feeding would work. I don't know. That's an idea to explore. I may have to run this through a couple times. Hopefully I find it again. Don't see it in there. Now, there is obviously the chance that it's kind of like pyrite. And the way to test that is to put it in between a pair of tweezers or something and squeeze it. If it crushes and deforms and breaks apart, it's not gold. If it crushes and just kind of is malleable but stays together and has a sort of a roughish outer texture, it's gold. I hope I said that right. That's what I remember. Okay, I'm down to the last little bit here. And there's a chance. Oh, up, 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 up. Ha 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 ha. There it is. Found it. Okay. Let me, once again, pop out of here. Is that another? That's not one. But that big guy right there in the corner. Let me get him in the light. That guy right there in the corner. I believe it looks right. Now here's the test. So we're going to take it. Oh, that's heavy. Ooh, buddy. Yep, that's gold. Look at the size of that. Let me give you a size comparison real quick. Drop a penny next to it. Look at that. Now, I'm not sure if that technically counts as a nugget, but I saw it flash by. Look, it's even big enough to pick up by hand. I better do this over here so I don't drop it. Look at the size of that thing. They're in the palm of my hand now. Focus. That's a chunk. That's cool. Okay. Let me that on the counter real quick. I need to stick that in the tube. But I need to put the phone down. So I don't need those. Wow. You can even hear it. Listen. Man, that's nothing to scoff at. That was a big one. And I just happened to see it zip right on by. So that's what I'm saying. You really have to be watching what you're doing. Like I said, it went flying right past my vision. It caught my eye. And that's because, specifically, I'm using green as my background. I'm using a contrasting color, and green works very well in contrasting with gold. So I'm going to empty this guy out down into here. Hang on real quick. Let me clean this guy out. We'll run some more through. Man, that was a big chunk. I'm still amazed. Like, I'm genuinely just awestruck. I did not think that this could do that. Okay. Let's come up one more time here. Oh, let me empty this tray out. In here. All right. And fill them up like that. I need to add in just a little more water. Oh, come on. Gotta love touch faucets. It works so well. My sock. Are you staring at my socks? Yes, I have the feeling the water might be going a little too fast. But if I drop it down to only 2 of the pumps, then it's not enough. And it just kind of comes to the end and it's like almost nothing. So I had to have all 3, so that was my compromise. So I think in order to fix that for a future version is going to be to take this tray and make it wider so that same amount of water flow has to go over a wider area. So effectively, it's a little bit slower. That's probably what I'm going to have to do. So let's go ahead and crank it up. Man, I'm so stoked. I'm going to go through this whole thing. All right, I'm only going to do a couple more spoonfuls of the clean pay dirt here, and then I'm actually going to go through and rerun some of the pay dirt that I've already put through. See what I can get out of it. I think I see a little bit more right there. Turn off the water. What do I see? That is not gold. Okay. Let's just run one more of the clean pay dirt here. See what we get. All right, looking at it here. Nothing is standing out that I can tell. So although there may be some finer gold in there, I'm not seeing any larger pieces. So I'm going to allow that to pass through. Actually, you know what? Give me a second. I'm gonna go get a toothbrush. This will make this a whole lot easier. Quit talking about my socks. Oh, that's funny. Okay. All right, so toothbrush should help me get inside a lot of these. Yeah, that's a whole lot easier. Oh yeah, I can do that actually. That cleans it out too. That's pretty cool. All right. So now I'm gonna close up this bag so I can keep that as a control bag. I'm gonna throw this one out. And I'm going to bring back in this bucket here, which is everything that's already been put through. And we are literally going to run it again. See how quickly those fill up? That's why I think I'm going to need more riffles. So I'm going to need to redesign this mat. But for what I'm currently doing, this is actually working pretty well. And we'll do one more, and then I think the riffles are full. I'll have to clean them out again. We'll check them. All right, see what we got. Let me grab my toothpick. I don't. That's not gold. I wouldn't expect any gold really to be up here. Because of the speed of the water, it would have ended up all the way down here. A lot of black sand down here though. Okay, I'm not seeing anything really interesting. So we're going to take the toothbrush, we're going to wipe it clean, and we're going to keep going. So if you're still sticking around, thank you. I'm sorry this isn't, I don't have any kind of cool music to play during this time or, anything like that. But, yes, this is definitely something that requires patience. Even on a larger scale, for those that work with much bigger pieces, shovels, gold hog, all the larger stuff, it still requires a buttload of patience. So I'm actually going to start. Once I run through the last of this bucket, I'm going to call the stream done. But yeah, so if you have any other questions, maybe you've got a suggestion on a way to improve this or something like that, by all means, let me know. I put a lot of work into this, and I'd like to kind of know what you guys think. Oh, and if you'd like to, if this gets put up for sale, by the way, I'm going to consider starting an online store that I would sell this stuff at, not like through Etsy or anything, but through my own little store. And I'll have a section for user-contributed riffle mat designs. So I'll give you the base template, and you can design mats to use, and most likely user design mats are going to be up for public use, kind of like on Thingiverse. I guess you could post to the Thingiverse too if you'd like, but I'm going to try and make a centralized location for this, assuming there's enough interest. And then you can share your designs with everybody and have it be useful in this little machine. All right, one more. I think I see a little piece of gold, actually. It's getting ready to come out. Yes. Super tiny, like smaller than I really care about. But remember, this is just kind of like the second run of all of this stuff. So think of the first run as having broken everything up. And then this run kind of helps separate it a little bit more. All right, so we're going to, that's right, so we don't have to take it out. Alrighty. Go ahead and empty this tray out. Into here. Alright. Tray back in. Tray up, down, power on, and we keep going. So I think I found a way to make this a little bit easier. I think we need to add a little bit more water. We're getting a little bit low here. Okay. Just to keep things healthy and moving along here. Ooh, there's actually an idea for a self-feeding. You see that? Watch. I'm just going to set the end here. So it's almost all the way, I guess. So if I put this here, it is almost self-feeding. Okay, so that's actually a really cool idea. Under the first mat, or under the first riffle, we're getting a lot of black sand out of this. But I'm not getting any more gold. Let's see what we got here. I don't see any there. They got a lot of black sand though. Oh, I think that's a piece right there actually. All right. Come here, you. Yes, 2 pieces. I'm pretty sure. At least I think that is. To be honest, it's a little hard to tell. Grab the tweezers here. Pull that guy out. No, that one was not. I thought it looked a little light. Okay, so I'm not seeing any, since those weren't. Definitely wasn't as big as those last couple of chunks, man. All right, so let's go ahead and surprisingly easy to clean with a toothbrush. Okay. Let's go ahead and pull the tray out. Empty that in here again. Okay. And that's how easy this is. So just keep right on going. Like a funnel where you can put the sand and it will fall itself. Yeah, I need to figure out whether or not that's going to work and actually feed successfully. That's going to be the thing. Of course, too much weight and then you just clog it up. Like if a big piece gets to the end that's bigger than the outlet to the funnel, then you have a problem. But so yeah, let's go send a little bit more through this guy here. I'm sorry, like now in the stream, it's really just kind of getting repetitive. Wait, what's that? That's not gold. It's just the way the light shined on it. Yeah, I'm sorry if it's getting a little repetitive just watching me do this over and over and over. But this is what gold sluicing or gold panning or gold prospecting or whatever term you want to call it, that's what this is. And people literally do this all day long. I mean, they have a big either a gold hog or a hand pan or a whatever, and they will head off for like the entire day and just go do this. Now, a lot of them, the really serious ones, will actually find... Uh-oh. I don't like that sound. The serious ones will show you where in a stream to actually search for gold. And there are specific locations that are good to look for gold because that's where heavy materials generally fall. So, it's not him. Let's try this one. I think it's that one. I'm going to raise them all up. A little bit like this, so that there's less chance of stuff getting into the bottom. I need to find a better filter, I think is what it is. Not that one. There we go, sounding a little better now. Let's go ahead and now for a test, I'm going to just dump it on here. All right, so really quickly, let's see if anything came through here, because remember, we've already passed through this. And I'm not seeing anything. I'm going to go take the excess that I pull out of here, because I'm running out of containers. I'm going to show you what I've got for used. So let me just pop that up a second. I'll be right back. Shut up. I know I'm wearing socks. Okay, so this is the bag of dirt that I've already been through. All of this was hand panned, all of it, which means that there's probably still gold left in it that this will probably find. But everything that I do that I want to go through again, I put in here, and I could really use dried out. So I'm going to take what I have, which is all of this in here, and just add it in here. Now the finer stuff that I have in this one, I'm going to leave there. I'll deal with that another time. This okay. I'm going to rinse the sink out a little bit here. Now, I guarantee you I could never get away with doing this if she were home. So, you know. All right. So this is pretty much 100% full at this point. Let's go ahead and fill this with some water. All right. This back in here, like that. You can rearrange my hoses a little bit. There we go. Turn it back on. Clean out anything I've got in here. We'll do another run. I'm almost down to the end of what I've got. And then I can put this away because at some point here I do have to go to bed. Okay. Now here's what it would look like if I literally just dumped this on. Oh, you guys can't see. Here's what it does. Boom. Just like that. Now they're pretty much already full for the most part. So I may have to come up with another design that basically roughs it up even more. But it has to go down. It slows down the progress a little bit, I think is what I'm going to want to end up doing. So much brown water in here, I can't tell what I got. Okay. So what I'm going to try to do, I don't know if this is going to work or not. This is pretty daring. Let me look and see how. Yeah, this is going to be full already. So I guess making this bigger is probably another step. All right. So what I'm going to try to do is dump down a good portion of this, I guess kind of all at once. This could be a bad idea. I guess we're going to find out, huh? So this would be like the equivalent of shoveling it in. Boy, I'm a little nervous about this, but hopefully you guys can see this on camera. I'm not blocking the view. Oh boy, here we go. So actually, and I've got all of my fingers, and now I don't. That wasn't too bad. It actually seemed to handle it like a champ. With one thing, of course, being that since these are full, a good portion is going to end up going right over it, not being caught in the mat. But I am getting a lot of black sand, which is pretty nifty, actually. So this finer stuff I'm going to put in here. You can tell I got little pools of black sand here. I'm going to put all that from this guy in there. Well, assuming I can get him out. Okay. So let me clean this tray out, and then I want to hand pan. If you're still going to be watching, I'm going to go through and do a hand pan on this much more fine stuff in my actual hand pan here and see if I can find anything in it. I don't think there will be anything. And yes, you're right. Now there's no socks. You're very observant, which is a little weird. No, I'm kidding. It's totally fine. Okay. All right. This is starting to be some pretty muddy water now. There we go. Full. Yeah. Rinse the tray out. Take this piece, drop them back in, the module in, set them at 10, set them on, and power on. All right, so I'm fairly confident that that doesn't have anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few larger pieces from the old bag with a much larger spoon now. I'll show you in comparison to what I was using here. And we're going to feed in a bigger amount and see if this works. Now this is from the bag that had the gold that I had hand panned a while back. It's been a couple months. I've had this for a while, so I'm going to scour down to the bottom of the bag here because I already put some back in. All right, so let's do this on the correct side here so you can see it. That's an amount. I'm just going to dump it on. We're going to see what happens. Oh my gosh, it worked. I don't know how much of actual gold might have got by, but it took it in stride, buddy. Ready? So maybe this thing actually can do a much larger throughput. Wow. That's awesome. I didn't even know my creation could do that, right? Big chunk. Wow. Okay, that's really cool. I'm sorry, I'm so excited about that. I don't know why. Okay, so there is a buttload of black sand getting caught in this thing. I mean, that's almost all there is, actually. So we're going to take that block out. And we are starting to look pretty gross here on the water. But, look at that. Lots of black sand. Oh, I really need to design this easier to remove. All right. Future versions are going to be easier, I promise. Let me put my black sand in with this. Okay. There's that. Clean out the tray. Ah, that's why it's sticking. I guess I should have seen that already. Okay, so the reason that it sticks, see how easily that goes in, is because sand is getting in between the outside of this and the inside of this blue piece, right in between the cracks, which means when you're pulling it out, it's grinding and it's sticking. It's making it very hard. Obviously, if there's no sand, it just comes right out. So, design feature I may have to change. But it's good to know that's why it does that. So you can tell, we are completely full. And I think I feel relatively confident that doesn't have any gold. We're starting to get down to the color water that I'm not comfortable with throwing into my pumps. So we are going to, once again, we're going to empty this out. Sorry for a terrible look. I'm going to start walking in front of it, you know what I mean? So all three of these pumps, and we'll actually just take that piece out with it. Okay, so all that over there, and then this, oh geez. Alright, so keeping the black sand part, here's where it gets a little hairy. Let's bring the camera in here, and let's have a look. I am keeping the filter in place. Ooh, hello. Okay. So I think... Okay. So here is what we filtered out. All of this was overflow that didn't stay in the bin, and all of that is what made it over to the pump side. Extremely fine. I mean, that's crazy fine. And that's because only the fine stuff is getting through the Scotch-Brite pad here. So really, I mean, this is doing a pretty good job, but I think there needs to be a finer filter that allows enough water flow that can keep the silt from getting to the pumps, because that's going to be a problem, and I don't want that happening. So I'm relatively confident that none of this dirt has gold in it. I really hate to toss it and then obviously have there be gold in it. So we're going to do something real quick. We're going to take the hand pan. I'm going to let me get my bigger spoon from over here. I'm going to take a chunk of this, and I'm going to show you how I hand pan my dirt. Okay. Let me just get as much as possible in there. Now by doing this, that allows the water to start running clearer. It'll pull out a lot of the, because like you know when you disturb mud it turns really brown. Well, same with this stuff. All of the impurities and light dirt and other things all end up coming out of it. So you're left with that, which is much easier to work with. Especially when you put it into a pan, it's easier to see. So, you see how brown and muddy that is already? I can almost guarantee, is that a piece of gold? Hang on a second. No. Okay. So I'm not seeing any gold that made it onto this side. That's good. So at least that part of the filter works. So I can actually rinse the rest of this right down the drain and not feel bad about myself. So this will completely clean that out. So now we are back to a clean box here. We'll put that over here just for a minute. And then obviously you can see all of the silt and everything that's left in here. So give me a second, let me rinse this stuff out. That in there. I'll just use my filter as a real brief scouring thing for the knife that I used earlier today. All right. So that takes care of that. This dirt I haven't gone over yet, and I think I still would like to. Let's that over there, and let's rinse all this down real quick. So I'm just doing a little bit of cleanup. I will be back into the swing of it here in a minute. Alright, I don't have a drain plug, so this is like the next best thing. Don't judge. Don't worry, my hand's not actually in there. And we're clear. Okay. So, put a cloth around the Scotch-Brite. Yes, that would probably work. You're right. I'm going to take this pan here and the phone. You see my little setup here. I'm watching myself live. I'm going to come over here to this sink. Since there's no disposal, I won't kill anything with it. And show you how I do a hand pan. Just have to get a good angle on this thing. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm not worried about other stuff going down here. I'll definitely rinse it. Not a big deal. I am, however, going to this just happens to fit here, which is super convenient. I love that. Okay, so The larger pieces here, these two larger sections are for the larger chunks, and then when you get down to the finer stuff that you really need to sift out, I use the smaller ones down here. So I'll start with the bigger, and you do this to get the material down, the heavy stuff on the bottom and the lighter stuff on top. This is called stratifying. And I'm not dumping off any material, but I am dumping off cloudy water. I see that? As soon as I put it in, it's all murky. So the same thing. Now if you want to disturb it a little bit, just to rough it up, you can, but you don't have to. You continue to do this. Work it down, but not enough work comes over the edge. Do that. Still murky, but we're getting a little bit better. If you want to do, just kind of like pinch it like this while you're stratifying, that just kind of acts like another layer of mixing and blending together. Now you can do it this way, where these riffled edges make use of those to push the material back and forth, rather than this and really just having it move as one big piece. So you can do this if you want to slowly move the material to the edge, or you can do this to cause it to use those internal riffles here to actually move and agitate the material. But either way, the heavy stuff needs to sink to the bottom. But you need a level of water in here to do it. So I'm to the point now, I'm wanting material to start going over the edge, because I think I've got it stratified enough where if there is any gold, it's going to be on the bottom. So gold and black sand will end up down underneath. And you'll see people do this any number of different ways. I'm just doing what I've seen has worked for me. Okay. Now I'm actually going to swap over and use this side. So I'm going to use the smaller riffles over here. Remember, my heavier stuff is on the bottom on this side. That's fine. The light stuff can continue to move over here. As you can tell, we can have it move off the top. Now when you do this and you don't see any water on top, time to add a little bit. If you need to, you can swirl it and bring the material back down, which will hopefully bring it out of these ruffles like this, and then they're clean, you can do it again. But as long as you keep stratifying, you should be able to keep the heavy stuff at the bottom and relatively safely move the light off the top. You don't want to move too much at a time. So to make it easier, bring all of it down to the bottom center of the pan. Now you see I have murky water. I'm going to go ahead, spin it around a little bit. It's still a little murkier than I'd like, because I'd like to see the material coming off. All right, so now I'm going to get this up to the edge. I'm going to show you what I got. Okay. Let me have the water off here so you can see it. You'll notice how I have much larger pieces up here. Obviously they're not gold, but they're light enough that the heavy went to the bottom, so these came to the top, and as I'm stratifying, moving these to the edge, these can be kicked off. And as you do that, like this, you notice they work their own way to the outside, so go ahead and knock them off. Don't use your finger, just go ahead and let the riffles do their job. Now I would suggest side to side. It creates its own little back and forth motion as well, but you get a little more surface area. So it actually becomes more effective to do it side to side than this way. Now that, I don't know if you can see that. You look for the ripple on the top here. I'm making a wave go this direction all by itself. I think I need more water. See that wave? I can use that to disturb the top and not keep disturbing what's underneath. So I can do that, and that gets, as long as there's water on the top to make it happen, lighter stuff right off the top of it. Now, normally I would not keep using a faucet because what I would do is I would take it into the water and I would do this. So as you bring it forward, you're forcing water up the pan, and then everything on the top should be light so water can come up, and you don't want to go too fast, just like the sluice, but let it carry off the top. Now I don't have a whole lot of water in here, so I'm going to add some in so that I can show you. This might take a second. Put that down at the bottom there. Okay, so what this is doing is, let's see, I'm going to stratify right up to the edge. I'm going to do this. Now if you don't want to go back and forth and you feel like you're going to throw it off, you can do a straight up and down. So obviously as you go down, water pulls in. Once it's back and it's on its way out, you want to lift up. So back and up, and you'll notice stuff comes right off the front. So you can do it this way if you have calm water. Obviously watch what you have. If you have stuff that's heavy, it's back here, and you put too much water in, it'll carry it right off the front. Now you don't want to go too fast or too much. Now you're starting to expose the heavier stuff. There's a chance you could bring it off the front. So we'll give it a little bit of water. And we do this, and we should be able to get most of it out of these riffles. Same thing, stratify it. You don't want to bring it up the riffles quite yet. Just stratify it, and now start working it forward. Now that the heavy stuff is settled, you get to there, and obviously keep an eye on it just in case something's made it to the top by mistake. And if you're good, you can put it down enough where you only get water up halfway. So we have all of these larger pieces right here. I want to clear out just that. Now I'm looking at something, and I'm almost positive that's not gold. Let me leave this here. I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay, so this piece right here. Can't even get it off. Ah, crap. Wait, there it is. Okay, so this little piece right here is not gold. And an easy way to tell is to take the edge of your tweezers and do this. See how it almost spreads out like paint? That's because it's likely mica. That's not gold, even though it might look like it. It doesn't have the same texture and it doesn't have the same look. It's a little more dull and a little more toward the yellowish side than orange. So, I mean, you kind of have to get used to the two side by side, but you can generally tell when you have something that's gold and something that's either fool's gold or some form of mica. So there is a difference, and you have to kind of know that. Like I said, when I went with the Sluice, I saw that gold slip right by, and I knew what it was that quick. Yes, it is much faster with the Sluice. Now, like I showed you, that entire pan, or that entire second bag that I brought in, all of it was done by hand. Every last bit of it. And yes, that took many hours. Generally, you wouldn't do this until you're down to something like black sand, where you really need to separate out the finer stuff. You're not going to get any mass amount of gold by doing it by hand. It's just never going to happen. The main reason that people will do it by hand is if they have a smaller quantity and they're actually checking to make sure what they have actually contains gold. So if you watch, there's a TV show, Gold something. Oh God, I can't remember. It's on Discovery Channel. But Gold something. They use a pan to go down and check various areas to see what size gold, how much, what kind, what purity, all that kind of stuff is in a spot, so that they know where to dig. And they use full-size, like, dump trucks. I mean, these are dredges that are 3 times the size of your house or more. I mean, they are absolute monsters. And they produce, I mean, this entire bucket could be half full with gold at, I don't know, I think it's like every month or something that they empty it out. And they, obviously they've done a number of pannings with it, and they have ways to further reduce it. But no, this is not, you don't solely want to do panning for gold this way. No, that just won't be effective. So, we're going to stratify this a little bit more. And now that we have a little bit finer stuff, I can actually see it not moving as a group, but actually becoming separated. Like this. Now I'm going to do this a little bit farther than I normally would, because I want to show you. And I think you're actually the only one watching besides me. That's why it says 2 viewers. One is me and one is you. Okay, so I got those big chunks out of there. Now normally I wouldn't recommend going down quite this far without re-stratifying. And I'm thinking that's mica as well. That's just a really dark piece. Because it has some black mixed in. And yes, it broke apart way too easily. Okay, so let me do this one more time. So I'm going to get a little bit more water here. And you see how it all fits on the riffles now? So I can use this to go back and forth, and the heavy stuff will remain in the bottom of those riffles. So once again, I'm going to do this. And now you'll start to see, I'm going to bring it up to the camera so you have good lighting. You see all of this black sand back here? That's a whole lot more black sand than I got with the Sluice, because there's more riffle to work with here, and I have better control over it. So obviously it's something on the Sluice that I need to change, but the concept is still the same. So we're almost there, and believe it or not, even though it may seem like I only have like next to nothing left in my pan, that's still quite a bit, and I have another few minutes to work with if I really want to take my time. So I have some bigger chunks. If I add the right amount of water, and I control both forward and back and left to right directions, I can force that stuff to move to the edge. And here's another example. It may look shiny. Sorry, you probably can't see that. But with this, you can actually take it and squish it between your fingernails. Come on, get on top of my fingernail, please. Whoop. He went flying. But if he leaves kind of like a chalky, milky kind of texture or substance behind, obviously it's not gold. You're not going to be able to do that with your fingernails. So we're down to some of the larger chunks. If you're really good, you can put it underwater like this, and you can, if you can, kind of bounce them out of the way. Now, you can see we're down to very little. We just have some larger chunks right here that I happen to know we can take out. So with this, we're going to add in a fair amount of water, and we're going to swirl it this way and try to get all of that stuff out of those grooves and back down to the bottom. Like this. Like that. Okay. So that gives everything I need to work with down here. And I will dump a little bit of this out and sift it out for you. So we can take out these last couple chunks just to make this easy to work with here. So this, you're almost to the home stretch. And you know what we started with? This, yeah. So there's a number of ways to go from here, and there's no perfect way to do it. I have a very small pan. This is an 8-inch. So the methods that people use on larger pans don't necessarily work with this one. So basically what I do, I'll grab a little bit of water, and I will get